Yes, I have more blushes for you guys. These are the new Armani blushes. They're called the Dolce Makeup Blush. I have all 5 shades. We're gonna swatch them, test them out. And I also have new lip products from Rare Beauty. These are called the Soft Pinch Lip Oil Slick. I actually have 5 colors and I've been testing a couple colors out and they are so juicy. So wonderful. So I'm really excited to swatch these for you. And that's about it. It's going to be hopefully a quick one. Let's get started. I just got my hair done. First time in probably like 8 months. And I love it. For summer, it just feels just like a refresh. And I'm going to the beach. So I'm just really excited. It makes me feel a little bit more youthful maybe. I do have quite a lot of grays actually, and so just doing some highlights just makes the grays blend in a little bit better. Okay, back to the makeup. I am kind of over blushes. I'm ready to be done with them, but I saw these, swatched them, and I actually purchased them a while back, and Armani reached out and they're sending me some, but I had already purchased them. These are the Dolci Blush Smoothing Cream to Powder Soft Matte Balm, and they come in 5 colors. They are $39 each, which is really expensive because I'll show you. These are very tiny. I will say I do like the packaging. A lot of people say it looks cheap. I don't know, I think it's kind of fun and cute, but you don't... Is this all you get? No, there's no way. Okay, I'm kind of in shock right now. This is 8 grams of product, and I want to see my Rhode ones. How much grams? Okay, 5.3. So the Armani gives you more than the Rhode. Well, yeah, this is really skinny. Okay, so this is how much Rhode has in them. Also, Rhode is almost half the price, so we'll give them that. The Armani does look a lot more chubby. It won't let me go up higher than that, so I don't know. Here I have my Merit blush, and this is 9 grams of product. So you do get a little bit more in the Merit blushes. The packaging is similar. I don't mean the packaging the outside, but the size packaging. I think the Armani are smaller, which I appreciate because I would love to take these on the go. I tend to carry some of my makeup in my bag. So I like to have a blush to touch up, and this would be easy to touch up with. I have here 4 shades. I'm missing one. I think I was testing that one out. Let's look in my bag. I found it. So these are all the products. How should I hold them so you can see them better? Maybe like this? Yeah, that's probably better. Here are all the colors. I have to say that I love the packaging. It doesn't feel cheap to me. Maybe it looks a little bit more cheap, but it feels like a nice plastic and sturdy. It doesn't feel flimsy. It is very small. It's, I think, meant to be on the go, but I like the packaging. It feels kind of smooth, and I really like that you can see the color on the outside. So for me, the packaging is actually a plus, and I know people don't like it. So I'm very, very aware of that, but it's just personal preference. I'm gonna swatch them. This is the shade 2. It is called Caramel Blush. Should have started with shade 1. This is shade 1 Rose Blush, and this looks a very neon-y almost, quite bright. And it's, I wouldn't call this necessarily rosy. I would call it more of a bright pink. A little bit corally, just a little bit. Shade 3, it's called Apricot. And this one is orange. Okay, yeah, it's quite orange. Shade 4, it's called Cinnamon. I'm gonna swatch it right here. It looks like a nice deep cinnamony color. I like that color. And then we have shade 5, it's called Mauve. Kind of think that this is going to be the more popular one because it's a beautiful mauve shade. So those are the colors. I actually like the variety. I like that we have some lighter, more beigey, a brighter pink, an orange, a good everyday mauve, and more of a darker shade. I like the variety of colors. Okay, let's try them on. Let's go on with the beigey color, which is shade 2. I want to go straight on to see how these blend out. I did wear a couple colors and really liked it. Okay, I'm actually gonna go from my brush onto my cheek to see how these do. So these are more matte, one of the more matte formulas that I've tried lately when it comes to blushes. And it has this blurring effect, as you can see right here. I am trying to adjust the lighting so it won't look so shiny. Usually studio lighting can make things look a little bit glowier than they are. So it's a little difficult just because I've changed my setup. So I'm trying to do better, but this will give you an idea of the color. I would say that the glowiness that you see is more from my foundation rather than the blush. And it's like the light reflecting. So this one, it is warm, but on me you can still see a tiny bit, not pink on it, but it's not just caramelly. I think it has a good balance of warmth, beiginess, and that rosiness almost. This is really, really beautiful. This is shade 2 Caramel Blush. Let's do shade 1 on this side. It is called Apricot, and this one is pretty bright. So I'm gonna do a couple swipes. Future Tania here. I actually messed up the names. The one I'm using right now is Rose Blush shade 1. It's not Apricot Blush. I think I got confused because it looks like an apricot color rather than just a rose color. So disregard my name the whole time. And I'm just taking a brush and blending this out. So for some reason, I thought that these would be a barely there kind of blush, you know, just a flush. These are pretty intense. They're very pigmented. I think this is much more realistic of how it looks like. I think there's some glow here. You can see how it's mattifying almost that area. So these have a lot of pigment, guys. These are not a barely there kind of blush, a minimal blush. They have a lot of pigment. They're quite intense. And yeah, I kind of feel like the way they were selling it was a little bit misleading, because I think there was a description somewhere where I read a flush of color, a soft, barely there color. And I'm just like, they're actually quite pigmented. Here is shade 1 Apricot Blush. And it's so pretty. It does have pigment to it and this brightness, but I think it's still very, very wearable. I would say that this is more of a corally color with some pink in it. And I think it is so pretty. So here's them side by side, shade 1 and shade 2. I personally like the apricot better on me. This, I think it's a very monotone. I think it would be great for certain makeup looks. But what I want to take is, is take this one and combine it with a caramel, because I think I would love this combo. Yeah, of course. I think the beiginess, it gives it a nice base layer, and this just adds that pop of color. Okay, I'm loving that combo. I had a feeling that these two would go so well together. Okay, love these. Let's move on. Now I'm moving to shade 3, which is called Apricot Blush. I've been messing up the shade 1 this whole time. I've been saying that that's apricot. It's actually rose, but let's put apricot. Let's swipe it on. Okay, I'm actually taking a pretty dense brush. This is from Refillable, and do my best to blend this out. Oh wait, that's actually really pretty. I was scared for a little bit, but wait, that's nice. I like that. I really was not expecting to like this. But it's actually really, really pretty. Okay, let's add a little bit more. I'm actually gonna go straight from here and see how much we can build. I told you these are super pigmented, so do not be fooled when they say a wash of color, because that's not a wash of color, that's a lot of color. But this is really pretty, even though it is more orangey when you build it up like this. It's not unflattering, or at least I don't think it is. I think I could make this work with a specific look. Just taking a foundation brush with nothing on it, whatever was left from the application, and just making sure that this is built up. Okay, super pretty. Here we have shade 3 Apricot Blush. I kind of want to put the shade 4 and 5 side by side, so I may take this one off and test those out. I'm actually gonna do shade 5 Mauve Blush first, and then we'll do the Cinnamon shade 4 on the other side. I think this was gonna be really popular because it's a beautiful mauve shade. I have a smaller Refer LC02 here, and I'm gonna blend this one with this brush. I think with this formula, I like something a little bit just more dense rather than airy, just because the formula is quite matte and it's a little bit more stiff. It's not as emollient as some other blushes. Here's just a wash of color. I'm gonna take a little bit more and just apply it right here. Here is shade 5 Mauve Blush. It's a beautiful kind of everyday mauve shade. I don't tend to reach for a ton of mauviness just on my skin tone, but I could use this one. I don't think it's pulling too gray on me. I think it's a really pretty color, very kind of simple everyday shade. It wouldn't be my first choice for my skin tone, but I know most people are gonna love this shade a lot, and it is really, really beautiful. But I'm curious about the Cinnamon shade. I think this would be something that I would love. For this one, I'm actually gonna take a bit more of a fluffy brush because it seems to be quite pigmented and I don't want to mess it up, so I'm gonna slowly build this up here. If you guys seen my NARS video where I swatched the blushes, the liquid blushes, the shade Brash is my number one color. I absolutely love it. So I thought this one would remind me of that, and it really does. Yeah, this is so pretty. See, I prefer this over the mauve shade. It's just different skin tone, you know? This is Cinnamon. Absolutely stunning. I love this color. Even for summer, for fall, all year long, this is my kind of color. Absolutely love it. And then here is Mauve. So I think these two combined could look really, really good. But this is my favorite for sure. I really like this one. And I really liked I was going to say apricot. No, the rose one. I really like these two shades. I think those are my favorite from this release. So good. Okay, I reapplied my base. I put a little bit of a bronzer on. So I'm going to go back in with the cinnamon color first. I'm going to take the same brush that I've had. This is a Revi Beauty blush brush, and I've already powdered as well. So we'll see how this goes over slightly powdered base. I didn't powder everything. I powdered just kind of under my eyes and the T-zone. but I think we can kind of get an idea how it performs. Love this color so much. It is so pretty. It is definitely very blurring, and I will say the formula is very different than the blushes that I've been testing out lately. It's much more matte, much more blurring, and even though they are cream, I would say that if you're somebody who does not like a cream, look into this because you may actually really enjoy it, because it kind of performs as a powder. Maybe it's the matte finish and the blurriness that you get from that that reminds me of more of a powder. Okay, well now I want to take shade 1, Rose, and just add a little bit of brightness right here. I have this beautiful top. It has some little hearts and flowers that are pinkish. Maybe more peach, actually. It's not super pink. And so I kind of wanted something a little bit more brighter on the cheek. Oh, that combo is so pretty. Those two together, they're perfect. I personally would use these on my lips as well. I would use it now if I were about to swatch the Rare Beauty ones. But okay, this is really, really beautiful. I love it. Let me put just a tiny bit of powder in the center. I love this Chanel compact powder. I have mine in the shade B20. And I just like to set this. It almost blurs everything. And I've learned my lesson. Using a puff is so much more effective with this powder. I kind of feel like when I just use a regular brush, it doesn't give me that blurring effect that it does with this. Let's move on to the lips, and I'll tell you my thoughts on the blushes at the end. So Rare Beauty came out with these Soft Pinch Lip Oil Stick. It comes in 3, 6, 8 shades. They are $25 each. I like the price point of Rare Beauty because it's not extremely expensive, yet their products are really, really good. By the way, this is the outside packaging, which I like because you can tell what's inside. And this is described as a juicy 3-in-1 hybrid that treats like an oil, shines like a gloss, and delivers bold, buildable color that's comfortable to wear for up to 12 hours. I've tested this out. You do not wear this for 12 hours because it won't stay on for 12 hours. However, for it being such a shiny, glossy formula, I was actually quite surprised how long-lasting these were. I'm missing one. It was in my bag. It's the one that I've been wearing. Here is the outside packaging. I think it's really beautiful. I love that you can see the color from the outside. We always like that. And it has this section here for easy grab, which we can appreciate. So let's move on to the shades. I got Dream, Muse, Wish, Embrace, and Success. The other ones were really either very intense or just too deep for me. So let's start with Dream. I will swatch it here and look at the formula. It has a lot of pigment and it is very glossy. Even though it doesn't stay on 12 hours, it does fade. Like if I eat something, I'll have to reapply, but it lasted surprisingly long on my lips. So let's do the shade Dream, which is more of a mauvey pinky shade. Here is shade Dream, a beautiful mauvey shade, rosy mauvey. Even though usually I don't reach for these colors, I actually quite enjoy the color. I don't feel like it's too pink, and look at the glossiness. It does feel kind of like an oil on your lips, but it doesn't move around. I'm very surprised with the actual formula of this product. It's very, very nice and comfortable. Next we have Wish, which is a bright coral. It's very bright, and the way I would wear this is actually with a liner, but I'll put it on with nothing first, so you can see. Oh, I actually broke mine. Okay, it is so bright. I don't know if I dug my nail in there, but I did kind of mess up mine. It's okay. So, wow. Super intense. Here is the color Wish, a bright corally shade. The way I'm gonna wear this one is with some liner and dab this one in the center. So let me show you that. Let's take the Doe shade from Armani. It's not a brown liner, it's more of a pinky rosy shade. I'm curious how it'll work with this. Actually, I'm gonna take Rishi from Armani as well and give myself a little bit more depth. Now we're gonna take the shade Wish and dab it in the center. These are super pigmented. And spread it out. Okay, this is more doable for me. I would actually wear this shade mostly in the summertime. I think it's really pretty. Let's add a little bit more right in the center. Yeah. And here is the shade Wish with a little bit of a liner. It's more wearable for me this way. And it's pretty, it's very summery. Next we have Muse. This one is my favorite. Look at that color. Oh, it is perfection. This is described as a nude beige. And oh, it's perfection, truly. So good. This color works perfectly without a liner. It glides smoothly. It is so beautiful. Definitely my favorite shade, and one that I actually have been keeping in my little makeup bag because I've been reaching for it. I think it's truly perfect. Next we have Success, that is a bright red. Almost did not pick this one up because I don't know, these kinds of reds, I like them matte so they won't move, but I had a vision for this, so thought I would try it. So let's put it on. Oh, the pigment is insane on these. So I don't have to be super precise with this one because I just rub my lips and it kind of moves it where it's supposed to go. And the pigment is so intense. I would say that this red is pulling more orangey red rather than that blue red. I also would dab this one. I'll show you in just a little bit, but I wanted to show full pigment first. So here we have Success with full pigment, and the way I thought I would like it is just dabbing it a little bit. Maybe I dabbed it a little bit much, but I like the stain almost that it's left after you dab it. This with a tiny bit of a liner, I think it could be really, really pretty for summer. Just like this. It's just a smidge of contour to your lips, and then this color, maybe just a little bit more in the center. Yeah, that's really pretty. Okay, that was Success. Moving on to the last one. Last we have is Embrace, which is described as a warm brown. Did not even swatch this one, but looks like a beautiful fall color. So let's try it on. Okay. This for deeper skin tone is probably going to be perfection. Wait, that's actually really pretty as well. I thought that I wouldn't be able to pull this off because it's so dark, but it's so beautiful. This for fall is going to be absolutely stunning. Here is Embrace, which they described it as a warm brown. I don't know if I agree. I actually think it has a little bit of coolness in it. Maybe just pulling more cool tone on me, but I wouldn't describe this as a warm brown, but it is absolutely stunning. I'm gonna take this one off because I really want to wear the shade Muse. It's perfection. I am lining my lips with Riche from Armani and then adding the Muse on top. Now that I've tested out everything, let me give you my thoughts on these products. The Armani blushes, I think they are overpriced. I will start there. I think for what they are in the packaging, I do think that they are overpriced. However, do I like them? I actually really, really like them. I don't think I like them as much as the NARS liquid blushes, and they're the same price. And I think longevity-wise, you're probably going to get more from the NARS ones. But I think if you're looking for more of a blurring matte blush, these are really nice. I also find them much easier to use than any of the blushes that I've been reviewing lately because they are very blendable and you can just put them straight on. They're not too emollient, well, where it can remove product from underneath, yet they blend out really nicely. And for somebody who doesn't love a cream or liquid product, I think you would really like them because they're easy. They're very easy to work with. So I do think that some people would prefer this formula more than a liquid blush. And I thought they performed really well. The two colors that are my favorite, like I mentioned, are these two. I think they're really pretty. Longevity-wise, they lasted nicely. I wore this, I think, twice so far, and at the end of the day I could still see my blush on, but it had faded some, so take that as you will. Now these Rare Beauty products or lip oils are phenomenal. I am very surprised how creamy they are, how glossy. The colors are really beautiful. There's not a lot of colors, which kind of surprised me, but the colors that they offer are actually quite different and you have a lot of variety in them. And also the way they feel on the lips, they're very moisturizing and oily, yet they don't slip and slide. And also the pigment, these have a lot of pigment, so I think that these are 10 out of 10. The only thing is, like I mentioned, Wish, I did kind of mess mine up right there. I don't know if I pressed too hard or like I scooped some with my finger. Not sure about that, but I can see how this can become a problem because they are very soft. Kind of reminds me a little bit of the Makeup by Mario little stick, kind of similar glosses, oils. It reminds me of that formula, and if you leave these outside, I bet they're gonna melt. I did not try that, but I would be afraid to leave them in my car. I think if you're aware of that and you still go for them, I don't think you're gonna be disappointed because they performed really, really well. And that is everything for today. This video ended up being much longer than I expected, and it took me a while to record it. So hopefully you guys will enjoy it, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.